So Singapore is leading the way with cell-based meat. So this is not just a American or anything type of concept. This has been something that has been going on in research for a while, like overseas. I have read before where a lot of Asian countries were embracing the notion of cell based meat. They were selling it in smaller portions, getting people accustomed to it and used to the idea. Now, Singapore is one of these countries that is leading the way in cell based meat. Right here, you see it. Cell based meat will be sold at a butchery for the first time ever in Singapore. Singapore continues to lead the progress of cell based meat. And here you see where a gentleman at a meat shop, butchery shop, cell based chicken is now available at a butcher in Singapore. So they're embracing this over there in Singapore. Cell based meat, also known as cultured or cultivated or sometimes slaughter free meat, will soon be available to buy at a butcher shop for the first time in Singapore. The breakthrough launch is taking place in Singapore. Their Huber Butchery has partnered with food tech company Eat Just. It has done so in order to sell its good meat branded chicken. Their slogan is real meat made without tearing down a forest or taking a life. That's what they believe in. You see here, Singapore remains the only country in the world to approve cell based meat to be sold and served to the public. However, these have previously been facilitated by limited food service locations only, including fine dining restaurants and hawker centers. I don't know what that is. I'm not from Singapore, so I don't know. If anybody out there watches my show, my channel, and they're from Singapore, let me know what a hawker centers is. Eat Just also partnered with one of Asia's largest food delivery platforms, Food Panda. So you keep scrolling down. So they're partnering with a food delivery service, so that way they can become bigger, they can get more stuff out, And this is for once again Singapore. This is not for the U.S. The U.S. has just stepped into it. Now I've heard a lot of you saying, "Oh, they've been doing this to us. They've been doing this to us." Listen, I have done my research. I have not found um, stuff that's saying that they have been giving us lab grown meat. Yes, they have been doing GMOs, they have been doing chemical meat, they've been doing things like this, but to this form or nature, so far it's just Singapore. The US has approved it, they have deemed it as safe to eat. Um, they are getting the facilities ready to start producing it, but so far I have not seen any credible resources that are saying that they have been feeding this to us. On my platform, on my stuff, I don't like to miseducate. If I put something out there and I find that maybe it's not right or it's not wrong, then I will put something else out there and I will apologize, because so much of our world is like darkness, chaos, and so much stuff is like being put out there so people will gain followers or monetary. Me, I want to inform people. I want to bring, even if it's just a remnant, to a higher understanding. Educate, re-educate. That's what I believe in. Same thing for myself. Educate, re-educate. Bring myself to higher form. Even if I read something 50 times, I will still read it another 50 times, because you never know what you might have missed or what you might have looked over. So for my platform, this is what I like to do. If I don't see it out there that they've been doing this to us, then I'm not going to put it on there. If you have something, then you can put on your platform about how they've been doing this. I haven't found that. Now, with that being said, have the ideas been out there? Yeah, I believe the ideas. I believe maybe, just maybe, they have tried to implement it. We never know what exactly is going into our food unless you know or you research the place exactly where you're buying it from. We see it in movies. like Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Remember the girl where she had the gum and she chewed it and she was getting a full course, like 3 course meal in her system, and it was like this is supposed to end world hunger and help people, and that was back in the 70s. And then remember Mike TV, where the candy bar got sent across the room and went into the TV, where hey, you won't even need a fast food restaurant in the future. You could just take it from the TV. So I believe this stuff has already been, it's always been in the making. It's always been, but now that things are more advanced and they believe people's mindsets are more advanced or people more open, or maybe they think people are still sleeping. I don't know. Now there's like, okay, let's start revving it up, and I believe soon, like how you see in a lot of these sci-fi movies, just put a pill in like a microwave looking thing and bing, and a whole force, full course meal comes out. You know what I mean? So have the ideas have been out there? Yeah. Have they actually been feeding us to us? I can't 100% say. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know because I have not seen any credible sources out there yet. But like that's being said, let's get back into our Singapore-ness because Singapore is leading the way to all this. And as you see the cute family. They're over there like, honey, what we gonna eat tonight for dinner? And the little girl look like, mommy, I want that. That looks good. So yeah, and here they have it labeled. They have their own section. So I'm hoping the U.S. does something like that, so that if you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. I'm not one to tell people what to eat or how to eat. You do you. You know what I mean? Because what's for somebody else may not be for the next person. Like me, I'm more green and less red. So like I eat my chicken, I do eat fish, but I eat more green substances than anything. So, where some people are meat, I don't know. So if whatever is comfortable for you, that's for you. I can't tell you how to eat, and nobody else should. And if you're not comfortable with this idea, then I believe it should be labeled. And I believe like this, like how Singapore is doing it, it should be labeled and it should have its own separate area of the, butcher shop or the store or whatever. So it just goes on just to explain about cell-based meats in Singapore and how they're embracing it. It goes to show how in January, they're going to have like a tasting, like people could come in, you can make reservations, and you could taste it and see how you like it. I guess they're going to do different styles, and get the public more aware of it, and you could try it out. If you like to travel and maybe you've been to Singapore before and want to go, and say you like, oh, you're interested in this, and because they haven't done it here yet, and they, you want to go to a tasting facility to see how it tastes, I guess you can take a trip to Singapore. And once again, it talks about, will the U.S. Follow Singapore's lead? And we already know the U.S. is following Singapore's lead. The FDA, they approved it as safe to eat. Upside has they have given Upside, the green light. Believer Meat, they already broke ground in Wilson, North Carolina to start building. So it's coming. Singapore is doing it now. They have it in butcher shops. They're leading the way. I guess America and a lot of probably other countries are probably like watching, like, how your people doing out there? How's their health? How's this? So they've been doing this for a while, and they are watching them. They're seeing how Singapore is handling this, and I guess a lot of countries like, okay, well, they're doing good. Let's start doing our own research, and here we go now. And that leads me to another thing too. I see a lot of people leaving the US. A lot of people are, traveling or wanting to live outside the US. And I would hate for somebody to go from the frying pan into the fire. So if cultivated meat isn't for you and you're not wanting to embrace this idea, make sure you look into the country that you want to go to. Because if you leave the US and then you go to like Singapore, you're going to have a higher chance of eating it now. You know what I mean? So look into where you move to, do your research, and keep yourselves educated, all right? So stay safe out there. and have a good New Year's.